Well, Martin, it's not supposed to be easy winning titles. I saw you just collapse to the turf at full time. How much did that demand from you?
Yeah, it was tough. It was very intense, very physical, and yeah, especially for me playing 90 again was tough. But yeah, we did everything we could, and we got the win, and that was the most important thing today, to bounce back with a win. And I thought we did well, you know, to get off the line and get the 3 points, which was the main thing.
Talk us through the corner routines today. We've seen you go long to great effect all season. I wondered, would it have been like a late decision when you see like the big lineup that Eddie House picked?
I mean, we practice it all. We practice the short one, we practice first post, second post, everything, you know, and that's our quality. We can score in so many different ways, and today we did it brilliantly. I thought we were quite dangerous a few more times as well, so yeah, credit to the work we do at the training ground, you know.
How much nerve almost does it take to keep doing it? Because you could almost sense people getting irritated with you doing it for a third time, but I guess corners 1 and 2 sort of open up that space for third time, and then obviously Ez's quality is unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the stadium was a bit annoyed that we took it short a few times.
They were.
But yeah, it paid off in the end, and a great finish from Eb, so yeah, it was brilliant.
Physically, how demanding is it at the minute? I reference you dropping to the turf. Obviously, you lost. Looks like you've lost Kai today. You lost Ebbs as well. For all of you, does it feel like, I don't know, like you're right on the brink? You're really having to push yourselves.
I mean, the schedule is crazy, but it is what it is, and we're used to it. We just have to keep going, you know. And yeah, it's the end of the season, so just leave everything out that we have inside, and just fight every single game and for every single win. And we did that today, and we just have to keep going. Look for the next game now and win again and keep going.
And of course, like for so much of this season, tonight when you look at the table, you'll see Arsenal on top of the league, and that's the be-all and end-all, right?
Yeah, that's where we want to be. Well, it's going to go all the way to the end, and we're ready for it. We're going to fight every single day, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Well done.
Thank you.
Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard talking about the importance of the result today. You said absolutely vital for them, Brighty, to get the 3 points. They managed to do that. What did you make of his post-match thoughts?
Yeah, you'd expect him to say what he's saying, because they know that at this stage of the season, you can hear him talking about the fans and how, you know, unhappy they were when they took for the third time they took the corner, but obviously as he scored. But I think from the players and the fans' point of view, there's a lot of pressure involved at the moment, because they've both been, I should say, through so much trying to finish this job off. So, you know, we're going to just have to see how it goes. Everybody's just going to have to just hang in there. You know, if it's going to be 1-0 for the end of the season, then you're going to just have to take it. But I totally understand from the fans' point of view, because they've been through it, and I totally understand from the players' point of view who are trying to do it, but they're obviously very nervous about what they're trying to do to get over the line. So, you know, something's going to give. Something's going to give.
The other thing he mentioned, which you've briefly touched on, and you certainly did that analysis at half-time, are the short corners. It's unusual from Arsenal.
Yeah, unusual, but you know, you train all week, and you train and train to go against the opposition that you're playing at, and you look at the weaknesses that team may have, and you might identify some, which Arsenal did today. They identified, played at short corner. You can pull a couple of people out of place and then get an opportunity to shoot, and they did that, and it's something that they've worked on. Although the crowd were moaning every time they took it, they scored a goal at the end of it. It's the goal that's won them the game. So they've stuck to the process that the manager's given them, and they've got the result come the end of it.
They'll keep doing that.
Yeah, so they had 2 of those short corners first, and it was from the third one that they scored. So let's have a look at the goal.
Well, you can see what's happened is that Willock is going all the way in with Odegaard, because he's followed him before, but then the ball goes, that then leaves a massive space. If you see the massive space there, you can see it. So Willock comes all the way with Odegaard, who's got no intentions of getting the ball. Now he passes it straight into Odegaard, who's got oceans of space, and then you can see the amount of time and space that Eze's got, and he rolls this to him perfectly. And then we're talking about a world-class player for me.
And then when you're looking at that, you're seeing Kai Havertz, who's coming and getting the ball off the corner, and you're thinking to yourself, that's the person that's supposed to be playing centre. None of the centre forwards had gone with him. So he had all the time in the world to turn and then play the ball to Eze. So I think it was a really well-worked corner routine that they used today.
And the thing with it as well, they know that they've got big players in there, you know, so they want to keep it away from someone like a Dan Burn, because I think they scored a goal against them with a short corner that we saw earlier on as well, because they know that if you put it in there, there's a good chance that the size of the goalkeeper, Dan Burn, and the other guys that are in there, the big guys that's in there, Botman, and that, they know that they'll clear it or something, so they've tried something else. to the point where they've done it 3 times on the spin, and it's worked. So as long as they can do this now and stick to what they believe in and what they've been working on the training ground, then they'll get through it.
Yeah, Havertz involved in that goal for Arsenal, and then he went off. He was injured, just after the half-hour mark, and this is Havertz going pretty much straight down the tunnel. He only just started against City for the first time in a long time. This injury, how concerned are you?
I'm quite concerned when you consider that he's broken down again. You can see how disappointed. You could tell as well, Les, when you see somebody walking off like that. You see the difference in Eze walking off and the difference with Havertz walking off. You can see that Eze's saying, I'm all right, I've just felt a little something. It's precautionary, and they've probably been told that. But Havertz, you can see that, that looks like a lengthy one.
Yeah, that looks like a reoccurrence of whatever he's had before. Yeah. Just tell by his face and the way he walks off and straight down the tunnel that don't expect to see him anytime soon.
What does he bring to Arsenal? Because, we saw his involvement in the first goal.
And I think that's what it is. He leads the line really well. Holds things up, gets himself into good positions where he can link the play for Arsenal. And that's what they're missing with, Victor has come in and hasn't quite been able to link it as well as Havertz. And when he's there, you can see that Arsenal have a focal point up front and they can play off him. So that's going to be a big miss, a real big miss for him.
Yeah, we don't want to preempt things. We obviously have no idea, but the way it looks, it might be Gyökeres leading the line for last games.
Yeah, maybe. I'm hearing that Mikel Merino's on his way back as well. You don't know how fit he will be, but he's similar to Havertz in the way that he can link the play and come and play in a corner situation like that. He's great in the box. He's a great finisher in the box. So fingers crossed that he can come back in the next maybe week or so, 2 weeks, and then, kind of fill that gap.
We talked about how nervy it was at the end because Newcastle did create opportunities, none more clear than this from Yohan Wissa.
Cool. I mean, as I said earlier on, they don't have a good record at the Emirates. But as a centre forward, he's missed a lot of the season, and you can look at it and say he probably just hasn't got that sharpness at the moment. But that's an incredible chance.
The thing is Les, with Voltemade, that is brilliant from him. He doesn't need to go down, Les. He does. You're going to sky that because he's going down now instead of standing up and just side foot it over to the left hand side. It's the kind of finish, Les. That's the kind of finish there, Jules, of somebody who's desperate to score. He couldn't wait to fall on it. He wanted to volley it in spectacularly where all he needed to do, because the goalkeeper's kind of in no man's land. You just go side foot it in there. You and the goalkeeper might clash, but you will get there first. You can see he's got to the ball first, Les.
And this is a great opportunity. Just need to side foot it. Just need to side foot him. There's no need to go to ground. There's no need to, because going to ground means you're going to lift the ball, and that's exactly what he did. It's just it's horrible.
Arsenal got away with one there, without a shadow of a doubt. They got away. That was horrible to see because, again, it's a massive for somebody that's cost quite a few quid for him. 55 million.
55 million.
He should be scoring that.
Yeah, we'd be talking a very different story right now because Arsenal are top of the table ahead of Manchester City, who were in FA Cup action a little bit earlier on, actually the same time as Arsenal. That is confirmation that City are through to the FA Cup final. They had to come from a goal down. Finazaz giving Southampton the lead in the 79th minute, but Doku and Gonzalez in the space of 5 minutes turning that game on its head. It's important for City, obviously, because they're into the final, but it's also important for the Premier League because this is what it means for the rest of the season now, with the FA Cup final being on the 16th of May. So City will not play on the penultimate weekend of the season. These are the upcoming fixtures, and it means that City Bournemouth and City Crystal Palace are those 2 fixtures in the Premier League that still have to be confirmed. Does that impact the race, and how?
Well, the thing is that City know how to navigate this, even regardless of, playing in the FA Cup and, having to play the game at different times. It won't make any difference to them in respect of the players and what they know what they need to do, because this is the Premier League. We're talking about a team that's been able to do it 4 times on the spin. So I'm not sure they're bothered about how many games they'll have to play if they can get this done. They'll be chasing Arsenal down to the end for me, regardless of how the fixtures pan out. And
they made quite a few changes for this fixture today. Yeah. And those boys that came off the bench who haven't been playing turned up today and got a victory. And they're playing with a swagger at the moment, a confidence that, Arsenal were playing at the start of the season, and I think that's what all the supporters want them to get back to, that swagger. But Man City look pretty much in control of what they're doing at the moment.
So Arsenal play Fulham before Manchester City return to Premier League action against Everton next time out. And that Fulham game, another London derby for them, it is at home. What would you say to the Arsenal team if you were in there right now with regards to everything we've kind of heard about the fans and playing at home and the nervous energy?
Well, I think that the players themselves are very much doing what they are told to do, because they weren't frightened where they're saying, OK, the fans are not going to like it, so we're just going to put it in. They're going to stick to the plan. And I think for so long as they stick to the plan, hopefully Eze's not too bad, because I think that he made a difference, just like he did at City, nearly scored. But him, Havertz, who obviously is out now, which is it's a real blow, and Odegaard, I knew that with them three playing, we're going to create the kind of chances. So now we're going to have to find somebody else to step in where Havertz was to try and create those chances, because Fulham is going to be a tough game. It's another London derby. And, you know, they've caused us problems before. So it's going to be a game where they're going to have to be resolute again. They're going to have to take the chances. And hopefully there'll be more chances and more goals for Arsenal, because you just want to relax. Fans need to relax in the stadium as well. And it's up to the players to maybe give them that. It's up to the players to give them that.
So, Victor.
And they got all 3 points today.
They did. I apologise to Arsenal fans all over the country that are watching this. It's going to be biting their fingernails all the way through. Welcome to the end of the season for Arsenal, because that's how it's going to be. If you expected Arsenal to really be expansive and to put teams away, today would have been the day to see it. We didn't see it. They score a goal. They go into their shell a little bit. And I guess Arteta's happy with that, Paul. He's happy with that. We'll look at the highlights. The Johan Wissa chance is the thing that the Arsenal fans are worried about. With one goal advantage, you're always, you know, nervous, because it takes one moment, one slip, one set piece, something that drops points. In this race at this time, that would be critical. But listen, it's done. 3 points, winnable games for Arsenal to the end of the season. The fans would just like a little bit more ease. My last point would be Bukayo Saka can make it less nervy. He had immediate threat, immediate end product, exactly what they need, whether they're winning or not winning. He's going to be important, particularly if we see the best Saka to the end of the season.
It wasn't comfortable, Robbie Earl, but it was good enough.
Was that 45 minutes or 45 hours? It felt like it was forever, and there was nothing really beautiful about that, apart from the points that are accrued. That's the most important thing. But it was edgy, it was nervous, it was kind of joyless, it was scrappy. 2 shots on target in the second half tells you that if they're going to win this title, they're going to win it in a real fight and dogfight with the other 4 games that they've got coming. But they've got the 3 points and they go back top of the table, and that was the most important thing that had to happen today for Arsenal.
The concern would be, Rob, that if they do that for the next 4, then one of those four
something's going to go wrong. Yeah,
and
it's a draw or a loss.
And by the way, Man City might they might drop points too, and it's difficult. You don't want them to go gung-ho and concede goals and lose games. So I get it's a tight balance between that attack and defence, critical balance.
I looked, Rob, back at their results going back. The last time they had a day when they really went to town on someone was the 4-1 win at Spurs away in February. Yeah. It's the last day when they could have probably played really well and enjoyed the game and weren't under pressure. Yeah. So it's been a really tight, nervy affair, but they're where they want to be. Now it's about, can they do it for another 4 times?
And maybe a little more foot on the gas after they went up in the first 10 minutes, but they did control it. It was theirs the rest of the way, even though it was, as you guys have pointed out, it was nervy the entire way, but they go to their locker room with exactly what...
A stunning strike from Eberechi Eze has given Arsenal the lead over Newcastle at half-time. Thoughts on the first 45, Ian?
Well, it started, I thought they had a very good chance, which Osulu missed kick, but I think Arsenal, like you'd expect, they had a lot of the possession. Not too much going on. Maybe I thought there was a couple of chances that we could have maybe taken shots earlier, but I think they've been in control of the game like you'd expect them to, and then you'd like to feel that you could get at least 1 goal going into the first half, and I was pleased that they got it in the end. Very different-looking corner routine for the Gunners today. Yeah, it was. I think even the fans, me and Les noticed that the fans, you know, you see the short corner there, and like I think that they're trying to drag them out, but like Joe Willock doesn't come there. So what they've done is, this is when the fans are starting to complain again. He stops there, and then this is the one where I think it gets through to him, and then now he has a shot. But then, Les, what was you saying? It was the second one, this third one?
Yeah, where Havertz comes out here, pulls out, and just plays it to Eze. and this kid's special. You put him in this position, you give him the opportunities. 9 times out of 10 he hits the target. But Kai Havertz, on all the 3 occasions, had come towards the ball.
Yes.
But this time, Odegaard goes out very quickly. Said Joe
Willett goes all the way,
and then all of a sudden he's got the space.
And then you see, when you get that much space for someone like Eberechi Eze, he's going to score. He's going to hit the target. He's going to make it happen. But again,
and what
go on,
so I was going to say, what you got to do, you've got to take your hat off to Arsenal, because they've obviously recognised that putting the ball into the box, which they've been doing early part of the season. You've got Dan Burn in there, you've got Botman, you've got Chow, who's a good header of the balls. So they've worked on a routine and they've got their rewards from it.
Yeah, Eze giving them the lead. 10 goals from outside the boxes. August 2022, he leads the way. Just talk to me about the quality of the finish.
Well, it's again, the ball to him is set up perfectly for somebody with his kind of technical ability. And when you look at it, how much time and space he's got there, you'd expect him to put it into the side where the goalie's not going to get it. We're talking about a very tall keeper in Nick Pope as well. So the strike has to be very powerful and very accurate. So you can't really do it with your laces from there, Julia, but you've got to do it with the instep. Like, you've really got to whip that ball and get some power on it, and he's got the capability of doing it.
You mentioned something very interesting, that given the height of the Newcastle defenders, Arsenal have worked out that the short corners, would be more useful for them today. And I think it's the second time that they've scored from a short corner. The other one against Newcastle at St James's Park earlier in the season.
Yeah, and that one actually goes into the box and they score off the header. But they'd obviously worked this out because they felt, if you keep slinging in there with the size of the Newcastle players, that they got more chance of heading the ball away, and that's well worked. And you got to give Havertz great credit there, because the ball into Eze means he can hit it first time.
Yeah, Havertz going off injured pretty shortly after that as well. Just looking at those numbers there, 195 corners for Arsenal, only 21 taken short, 3 of those 21 today. And they've made it count.
They've made it count, and like I say, the fans obviously have not seen the short corners too frequently, so they didn't know what was going on. They know that we score from corners, so they wanted to see the ball go in. But obviously Joe Vea, who knows Newcastle and wants to pull them out and move them out of the place, and they done it brilliantly there. It was brilliantly taken.
Speaking of brilliantly taken, there was a moment for Tonali where he could have levelled the score. Just talk me through this one.
Yeah, ball just comes out to him here, takes a touch and hits it. And first of all, thought it got a deflection because Raya was going the other way, but then when we see it, he just catches it absolutely on the laces. And there's a wicked swerve at the end there, and Raya does well to keep it out of the net. Yeah.
See, again, people won't. They'll just say, "Oh, he's supposed to say it's in the middle of the goal." But when you look at that ball and how it moves, it was very difficult, and he's done well to make sure that he adjusted himself to be able to make a save.
Arsenal had 3 shots in that first half. Newcastle had 9. So Newcastle, encouraging signs for them. But that save from Raya, as well as the goal from Eze, sending them into half-time, 1-0 ahead.
To the Arsenal, and a set-piece is the difference against Newcastle at half-time. Paul Merson and Jamie Redknapp are here, but a slight tweak to the norm. Arsenal taken, before today, 6 short corners all season. Jamie, we saw 3 in the first 9 minutes. Every time there was a conversation between Odegaard and Madueke. Maybe Odegaard or Madueke saying, am I going short again?
Yeah, they don't get, obviously, the first one right. You can see it here. They get it wrong. They intercept it. And now you've got to be brave, because the crowd was starting to think, OK, what is this routine? This isn't working. They do it again. They're brave. They try to play it. It doesn't work out. You're trying to create that corridor for Eze. He ends up getting the shot away. And that should be a warning sign, certainly for Newcastle. And once they do that, now you can see the first movement. It comes into Havertz. He just keeps hold of it, sets it back to Eze. And you're giving a world-class player a shot from 20 yards, a free shot. And that shouldn't happen. You should have learnt your lesson. Really good play. They see they open up that corridor. They can play it into Havertz. Now he can keep hold of the ball. Look how much space Eze's got at the edge of the box. Plays it back nicely to him. He says, there you go, free shot at goal with a player of his quality. That's unbelievable. What a finish, Paul.
There's still a lot to do from there for Eze, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And the ball back from Havertz has got to be right as well, where he don't have to take a touch. I know people at home will go, oh, it's a 4-yard pass, 5-yard. But if he doesn't hit it at the right pace, he can't run onto that and hit it first time. It's absolutely perfect. But there's still a lot to do. If you're Newcastle, you're still sitting there thinking, well, I think we've done everything right. And then he
great technique from him.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. And, a world-class goal, which was needed by Arsenal.
You wanted to see a good early start, and they got the goal within the first 10 minutes, but it didn't really build, did it, in terms of the atmosphere here? Do they have to be careful? Because they've faced 9 shots from Newcastle in that first half. And the only time they've faced more than that in the first half of any game is the very first game of the season against Manchester United.
As long as this stays 1-0, the more nervy Arsenal will get. There's no question about that. The shackles have come off Newcastle, and with 15 minutes to go, they'll just go out and play and have a go. Arsenal, for me, need another goal here. They need another goal.
Such a fortune here, though, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, when we was outside, Aaron Ramsey kicked abort me, and I kicked it back, and they're like a balloon. They're so light. Couldn't believe it. I thought I might make a comeback or
By the
something.
way, your touch was good, though, Paul.
Yeah, thank you.
But that save there was because you can see there's a bit of light, bit of sun
Right.
coming across him. He actually reacts really well. But it doesn't feel like 1-0 will be enough, you know, because Newcastle will start to get a bit more confident. And if that happens and the nerves start to creep in, it does feel like they're going to need another goal.
And it doesn't feel, again, like that.